Hey guys, welcome back. Today is a tutorial because I recently went to a masterclass that was so exciting. I went with Harrods, they invited me, and it was a masterclass with Kim Kardashian's head makeup artist, Mario Dedivanovic. But I have been to one of his masterclasses before, his last one in London, and it was amazing, so I literally jumped at the chance to go to this one, and it was unreal. We had 2 hours with him. He did a demonstration. He talked us through all the products he uses and how he used them. So I did a whole blog post all about my experience. I also had a little quick 5-minute interview with him, so I'm going to link that blog post below in case you want to know the full detail of everything in writing. But today I'm going to attempt to recreate the look he did on the model, kind of putting my own little spin on it as well, using a lot of the products he used. A lot of these products are super luxury. There's a lot of Tom Ford, a lot of Charlotte Tilbury, so I'm going to link dupes or alternatives down below in the information box as well. But these were the products that he used, and I wanted to show you exactly like what they look like on the skin in action. He said this was one of his go-to looks for Kim, so I hope you enjoy seeing how I recreated it. So Mario said he always starts by using a really emollient moisturizer on the skin, and he did say he likes creme de la mer or Kiehl's, but I'm going to be using the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream today. He also applied his moisturizer with a sponge, but I'm not that professional, so I'm just gonna rub this in with my fingers. The foundation he used in the masterclass was actually the Bobbi Brown stick foundation. I've never even used the stick foundation before, so this is kind of going to be like a first impressions. I have quite a few shades, so I don't even know what shade I am. This is literally going to be a really fun little experiment. He actually said he like applies it on the back of his hand and then applies it with a sponge, so I'm just going to kind of like scoop a bit out onto the back of my hand like that. Then I'm going to take my damp beauty blender, dab it into the product on my hand, and then continue to dab that on my face. I've never used a stick foundation before. I'm not really sure what the finish is going to be like, but in the class, at the end of the class, when I saw the model's like finished skin, it looked exactly like skin. It didn't look like she was wearing a ton of foundation or anything. I've just applied the first layer, and now I'm going to go in with another layer, just kind of where I need a bit more coverage. This is definitely super buildable. I can just see that that second layer all of a sudden just covered a bit of the redness around my skin that was kind of peeping through. It seems to be blending in really easily, and it doesn't really feel like mega heavy on the skin, but it definitely feels like I have something there. Mario did spend like a good 5 minutes maybe just like bouncing the foundation in the skin with the other kind of side of the beauty blender, and he said he uses like bouncing and tapping motions, which is how I normally kind of use the beauty blender anyway, and it just really makes sure the foundation adheres like quite nicely to the skin. So now I can move on to my eyeshadow. Now my base is done. I'm going to leave everything else bare and come back to it. The first product he used in the masterclass on the eyes was the Giorgio Armani eye tint. It's in the shade 13. It's this like really vibrant gold color, and I'm just going to apply that on my eyelids. And he said he really liked these because they don't crease or budge or smudge or blah blah blah, and they act as a nice kind of base for eyeshadow. And I'm just going to tap that into my eyes with my finger. It's a bit more kind of glittery than I would normally go on my eyelids, so let's see how this turns out. He did actually build up the color and do a couple of layers of the eye tint. I'm just going to go in with layer 2 now and blend that out with my finger again, just kind of tapping the product kind of into my eyelid. So that's one eye with the eye tint on, and you can see how like vibrant and gold it is. I'm just going to take a little clean fluffy brush and blend out the edges of the eyeshadow just to make sure there are no kind of weird patches where everything looks a bit uneven. He did use this eyeshadow palette quite a bit. It's the vintage Vamp eyeshadow palette from Charlotte Tilbury, and he used this little kind of pearly white highlight shade on a more kind of pointier brush and just dab that right underneath the brow bone, and then I'm just going to blend that out with my fingers. This is an eyeshadow palette I wanted to include because Mario used it in his masterclass as well. It's the Tom Ford Eyeshadow Quad and Cocoa Mirage. He actually did something which I thought was pretty brave. He took the darkest shade in this palette on a little fluffy brush and then basically drew a crease line onto the crease of the eye. When I'm enhancing my crease, I always like to look directly into the mirror and then almost have the mirror slightly further down, just so I can can almost see where my crease line is, and it's quite easy to kind of place the brush there that way. I'm now going to take a clean fluffy brush and really lightly dip it into the lighter shade of this Tom Ford palette and use it to blend out the eyeshadow I just applied. I'm going to apply a little bit of eyeshadow over the top of the gold shade just to kind of enhance it a bit, and I'm going to use Urban Decay Half Baked just on my little pinky finger and kind of dab that into the eyeshadow, but making sure I kind of stay below the crease line where I applied those darker shades. This eyeliner is the Avon Supershock gel liner. It's one of like the most creamy, blendable gel eyeliners I've ever used. So I've just applied that along my lash line, kind of really staying as close to the lash line as I possibly can. And now I'm going to use a little bit of matte carbon. It's a matte black eyeshadow on a really tiny, kind of precise brush just to blend out that line. I'm going to take a little bit of liquid liner. This is the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner. It is by far the best liquid liner I have ever got my hands on. And I'm just going to go a little bit over the black eyeshadow and eyeliner I just applied, just to kind of further define it so it looks like a more kind of gradient of smoke rather than like two harsh lines or anything. I always end up putting my mirror like so close to my face when I'm doing eyeliner. I don't know why, I just like to have my mirror like as close to my eye as it possibly can be. I'm going to do a little bit of tidying up. I'm going to take this little white and then just kind of sweep up any of the kind of gold eyeshadow that's fallen down or gone in the wrong place where it shouldn't be really. Look, there's a lot of cleaning up to do. I literally just chucked that down and it almost fell in the candle. For concealer, Mario used the Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage Concealer. Now, I haven't tried this maybe for about 3 years. I remember trying it before I even had my blog, I think, and I didn't really like it that much, so I'm kind of excited to see my first impressions today. I haven't really used this one yet. And Mario actually applied it first with a brush and then went in and blended it out with a beauty blender sponge. So I'm just going to kind of mix the two shades together on this brush and then apply that all the way from the inner corner of my eye just because I get quite a bit of darkness there. So now that I've applied quite a bit of concealer under my eyes, I'm just going to take my damp beauty blender and kind of bounce and tap that into my skin, really blending out the concealer quite a bit. I just find this beauty blender just blends stuff in so seamlessly. I've said this like literally 100 times. I feel like every time I use the beauty blender, I'm like, it's really worth that extra effort. Straight away after applying concealer, Mario said he dips his beauty blender in some of the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I also haven't tried this. Just dabs that straight onto where he applied the concealer to set it. It's quite funny because I rarely set my concealer on a day-to-day basis, but recently I've been doing this just with any kind of powder I normally have around with me, and it does make such a difference in the concealer lasting. So I'm going to move back onto my eyes now. I'm going to go back with my Avon gel liner and I'm just going to run that in my waterline of the eyes. Ooh, it always feels so weird doing that. And above as well. I would say if you have quite runny or watery eyes, I consider myself to have like medium runny watery eyes, then you might want something a bit more powdery than this. This is quite a gel texture. I'm now going to use the two kind of purpley plum shades mixed together. Sweep those underneath my eyes just to kind of blend out the black line into something a bit purpley and plummy, and it almost gives it quite a sultry look. I'm just going to apply the highlight shade from the Charlotte Tilbury palette again on the inner corner of my eyes just to highlight a little bit. I love that kind of little pop of colour this gives. It just adds a lot of sheen. I'm going to set a bit of my foundation. I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury powder. I use the shade 2. This is just a nice big fluffy brush, and I'm just almost going to like press that into my skin where I get the most shiny, which is around my nose, on my chin, a little bit on my upper lip. Something I found really interesting was that Mario actually uses a translucent powder in a kind of darker shade as a bronzer. So he used this translucent finishing powder by Tom Ford. This is in the shade number 3, Sahara Dusk. I love this brush for bronzer. It's a Sigma F40. And kind of sweep that in an E motion around my face, starting at my kind of hairline up here, taking it down to the kind of cheekbones of my face, and then taking it along my jawline. It does seem to be quite a subtle colour that you can really kind of build up, so I'm just going to apply a little bit more on my cheekbones. Underneath where Mario applied the bronzer, he used this Bobbi Brown Sheer Finish Loose Powder in the shade Soft Sand. So I've just dabbed my sponge in that powder and I'm just going to apply it just below my cheekbone. So I'm just going to sweep off any excess with this brush. I was really happy that he used my favorite highlighter. This is from the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow palette. I'm just going to use this highlight shade and sweep that just above my cheekbones and really kind of bring that down onto the apples of my cheeks. I love how golden this makes your skin look, and it really catches the light in like such a gorgeous way. For blush, he did use Tom Ford Love Lust. He said he also liked Tom Ford Orgasm, but I'm going to use Tom Ford Frantic Pink. It's kind of tiny bit lighter than Love Lust, I would say. Love Lust is a bit peachier, and I just kind of sweep that in between the contour and the highlight, so it kind of overlaps a bit with both. Mario always does this little thing where he brings some eyeshadow or some darker shade into the kind of bit where your eyebrow meets your nose bone, almost just right there. So I've just done that with the Tom Ford powder onto my eyebrows, and I felt like I had to whip this out because it was what Mario used. It was the Anastasia Brow Wiz. I haven't used this in so long, but I just forgot how good it was. You get this little brush on one side to kind of brush your brows through, and the nib of the pencil is really fine as well, so you can really fake little kind of hair strokes with it and fill in any little gaps that I have. I'm going to use these lashes. They're the ones Mario used. They're the Ardell Demi Wispies. I love them. They give such a fluttery look to the eye. I'm going to link a video below of Lisa Eldridge's tutorial on how to apply fake lashes, because that's something I always go back to, and I always find that like lashes is something, if I haven't done it for a while, I always forget how to apply them, so Lisa Eldridge always comes to save me. So now I have my fake lashes on. I'm just going to use a bit of this Too Faced mascara just on my bottom lashes to kind of add a little bit of something, tie all the kind of eye look together, and just use them a bit on my top lashes to kind of blend my real lashes into the fake ones. Mario used one of my favorite products, Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat and Pillow Talk. Like, I don't even want to know how many times I've told you guys about this product, but I'm just going to use that to kind of define my lips a little bit. It also helps make your lipstick or whatever you're applying on top last so much longer, and I kind of use it just to over define my lips a bit as well. So I do that by just going a little tiny bit outside my lip line. Actually, it's not a little tiny bit, it's quite a bit. The lipstick he used in the class was this one, Tom Ford Sable Smoke. This is a brand new one, and what I actually do with Tom Ford lipsticks is I use the back of the lipstick so I don't actually ruin the TF. So you will see that in action now. That's what I'm going to do, because this is the first time I've used this. Oh, it's so pretty, this lipstick. I really like that, but I think I want a little bit of a gloss on top. I'm going to use my Chantecaille Brilliant Gloss in Lucky, and I'm just going to apply that in the center. So I'm just going to take my hair down now so you guys can see what it really looks like with everything complete. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you found it interesting. Make sure, if you want to know more about what products he exactly used, all his tips and everything, make sure you check out my blog post below. And you can also, I feel like I have those lines of lip gloss, do I? Oh no, I don't. That's awesome. You can also follow me on Instagram. My username is @AmeliaLiana, and I have Snapchat and Twitter and everything, which will be linked in the information box below as well. But I hope you guys are having a great day. Let me know if there are any tutorials you would like to see coming up soon, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! So good. It's really comfortable. It's basically everything I want a liquid lipstick to be. Really comfortable, really long lasting, and an awesome color. So well done, Kathleen. The next lipstick I want to tell you guys about is...
Okay, Billy, wait. You're the one on the outside.
My aunt was walking by. Do you recognize her? Came to sniff her, and now... Oh, I put him back on the lead because I thought we were going, but apparently we're not, because everyone's having too much fun. Baby in